Too many details.
Welcome to the Redevelopment Commission meeting for the City of Bloomington for June 15th, 2026. We'll start the meeting with a roll call, please.
Lori McRobbie, present.
Steve Scambolari here.
Randy Cassidy present.
John West here.
Deborah Meyerson here. Staff present, please.
Anna Killian Hansen, Housing and Neighborhood Development.
Christina Finley, Hand Department.
Candy Caswell, Hand Department.
Jeff McKim, City Controller.
Anna Dragovich, ESD.
Cody Toothman, Hand.
Thank you. First item on our agenda is the approval of minutes from June 1st, 2026. Any questions or comments from commissioners? If not, I will take a motion.
Yes, I do have at least a question on page 3. Under resolution 2637 is the draft, the language that we added to the draft of, is I think, the draft of resolution 2635, which is covered on the previous page. So it just may be that whatever is written there should not be in that part of the minutes.
That is correct.
It's not, it has nothing to do with resolution 2637.
Good catch. Thank you. Okay. Any other questions or comments from commissioners about the minutes from June 1st?
Move for approval.
Second. Was amended.
We've got a first and a second for the minutes as amended. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the claims register from June 18th, 2026. Any questions or comments from commissioners on this item? Yes.
On Fund 2209-9216, I know what it was.
Can you tell me what
Oh,
page I'm supposed to-
I apologize. Get that.
There's a lot of claims there.
Yeah, there are. Yeah, okay. It'd be on page 9 of 111, and it's 2209 fund, and it's the 9216. I know it's for the maintenance of the lots, which is our responsibility. I just want to be able to bring up that at some point with
Page 9.
well, on mine it's page 9.
Of the
It's
claim
page 2 of 6.
Page 2 of 6. Thank you. I apologize.
Oh, it's the middle of the page,
Yeah.
9216
Page
for Williams
26.
Creek Management Corporation.
Williams Creek
Yes.
Management.
Yes.
I know it's for the maintenance of the evergreen lots.
Yes.
I just want to keep it on radar at some point to be able to try to get that homeowners association going. So
we have attempted.
I know we have. I just
They have not been cooperative.
Right.
And actually, just so that you're aware, I do believe that was home funding that we used.
It is.
So
Yeah.
because we used home funding in the project originally, or the previous administration did.
I just want to bring it up because at some point the homeowners association have to take a responsibility. For
They
that.
were supposed to, yes.
Okay. Thank you. And then the other question would be under, I think it's 2519 on the Duke bills, where we're getting College Square and we don't have any tenants there. Is that correct?
We do have Weddle in the building.
Weddle. Okay. And the reason I asked that, when I combined up the College Square bills for the Duke, it was like $2,045 now, and I think that incorporates 2 months.
And yeah, there are individually metered units there that are harder to.
And we're paying the minimum, so.
Mhm.
Okay, so basically that's the Weddle and associated minimums for a couple
Yes,
months.
but I will tell you that we are supposed to be billing back Weddle, so we do owe them
Okay.
a bill back for some utilities, and that is coming. They're expecting it. We've talked about it as recently as last week.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
And while we're on the subject of College Square and utilities, I just want to flag for you that we did receive, and it will be coming out in the following claim register, I don't think in this one, a more than $1,000 water bill for College Square. Apparently there was a leak in the common area restroom. It has been repaired, but just FYI, that was a little shocking, but has been taken care of.
Is there any, in terms of Weddle's use of the property, anything where there could be some, weekly, let's say, just kind of scan to look for things before they kind of get out of control? I'm just trying to get a sense of what capacity.
It was them that discovered it.
But it was, they're in the one end of the building and they've got their own restrooms.
Mm-hmm.
And the end that you're talking about probably was where the offices were.
Mm-hmm.
And that, does Weddle even use that end?
I'm not sure they discovered the leak, but yes. So it may be another conversation to say, should we shut off
Yeah,
all common area?
yeah, that's where I was headed with
Yeah,
this.
okay.
And
We can work on that.
see if we can get utilities to give us a break on the wastewater if it didn't go down.
No.
Gotta ask. It's okay to pay for it, but if we don't use it.
Well, if it didn't go down the sanitary sewer,
That's
you
what
can
I
make
mean.
that case, yeah.
So,
Anything else on the
John,
claim
I got
register?
one more.
Yeah, I've got not a question about the bill, but just a status kind of what's going on with the climate control at the garage, trades garage. I see that we've got quite a few invoices from HFI, and I know that we've got a situation there where we've been having a hard time stabilizing
The trades garage has mostly been stabilized. I will have to talk to facilities and get back to you on exactly what they were working on there. Because we did have Blue Fox working on the trades commercial space. This may be specific to something else. I'll have to report back on that.
You know, it's got five.
I see
At least about $5,500.
This may be their billing previous to Blue Fox going in and handling it. So it may just be a billing catch up.
Okay.
Yeah, and actually you can tell,
95,
and you can see it says 7/11/25, 7/18/25. So this is prior to me getting involved to find the root cause.
Yeah, these are some older bills.
Mm-hmm.
So we're paying them, but they never actually solved the problem.
Correct. They tried a number of different things that didn't work.
One last question on 6 of 6 on the BOKF, which is our solar panels. What is the interest basis of that?
I'm gonna have to let Jeff and Anna and Dana
Because
answer
this
that.
is our portion that we pay, and we pay that how often?
Twice a year.
So, biennial. And have we separated out the interest, or is that principal plus interest?
I don't have I only have the principal and interest for the total solar bonds payment, not just the RDC's portion of it. But right now, let's see, if we're looking at the 2026, the total payment on the bond is $427,600, and of that, $132,600 is interest. So you can just kind of do the proportionally. The interest is going to be about 30% of the
Of the overall
Of the
total
payment.
cost?
Yeah.
Okay, and that's all been broke out between utilities, RDC,
parks.
and parks. Those are the three entities that have the payment
Yep.
overall for 427.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, are you done, Randy?
Yes.
One more on page 2 of 6, leading into page 3 of 6, the ICD ARPA expenditures. Question for our controller, can you do just a 30-second or 60-second update on ARPA funding and where we are with that? I think this is our last year for some of those expenditures, if I remember correctly.
I mean, yes, but I would need to get the detail on these specific expenditures. But yes, we are still paying out various contracts associated with ARPA. But I'll have to send you the detail.
All
Okay.
projects for ARPA have to be complete by the end of this calendar year.
That's what
and
I was
paid
remembering,
out.
yeah.
So, yes. So it's gonna be whether everyone spends what they've been allocated or not, but they have until the end of this calendar year and that is it.
And if we don't, do the dollars revert then, or what happens?
They do revert.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Does that put us at any risk as far as the bond?
There are no further questions on the claims register from June 18th, 2026. I'll take a motion.
Move approval of the claims register.
Second.
The first and a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the payroll register for May 29th, 2026. Any questions or comments from commissioners? Take a motion if there's no further comment.
Move approval. Second.
We've got a first and a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you. Okay, next on our agenda is director's report.
There is no formal director's report. I will let you know that I got a message from John Fernandez last week that they have had a water intrusion issue at the forge, and so it's about $2,500 is what they're anticipating for the repair. We would likely try to run that through the 2602 funding line, which is for maintenance of all RDC properties, but just to give you a heads up that that is coming, and I told him to move forward with the repair because water intrusion issues are the largest issue with degradation of property, so.
Thank you. Anything else? Okay,
Happy to answer any questions.
thank you. Do we have a legal report?
I do not have a report. First questions.
Okay, thank you. Treasurer's report?
Just a brief one. Actually, Tammy is going to share a spreadsheet on the screen. This is a report that we'll actually send out to you for the minutes, but I just wanted to let everybody know that we did receive our spring property tax settlement for 2026. So this chart up here actually shows the amount of settlement. We received over $13 million in property tax a couple of days ago, and this chart that I'll send out actually shows the property tax revenue by allocation area. Like I said, I don't think there's any point in going through this in detail at this meeting, but I'll send this out to the group and it'll be part of the minutes. But I just kind of wanted to let everybody know that we had received that settlement. It was about $3 million more than the equivalent spring settlement of last year, and we've still not received anything for the Meridian TIF. So that number still remains zero. Happy to take any questions.
Is there an anticipated timeline for when the Meridian TIF might be part of that?
No, I was thinking of calling the assessor and talking about that. I just worked on this chart today, and
Yeah, I'd be kind of curious
kind
just to know like how that timeline is managed, because obviously it's not necessarily on the property tax timeline because it's being. I'm just actually.
well, no, it should still be on the property tax timeline. Yeah.
Okay.
So when you say we've received $3 million more based upon what the assessed value was at the time that the properties have came into being paid, so does that allow $3 million more to be spent on any projects that are necessary for the
Well,
community?
yes, but remember, we're still anticipating this revenue for future bonds that we've discussed, so it shouldn't be considered
No.
gravy.
Found
It just means that
Right,
it's
but
not found money.
But it's additional dollars
But
that
it
we
is-
weren't calculating on at the present time.
Right. It is. It does mean that our allocation areas are mostly continuing to create the increment that
That we anticipate.
anticipated.
Okay, and then dealing with the Prow Road TIF, that goes away at the end of this year.
That goes away at the end of this year. So we'll
So-
receive one more settlement, the fall settlement at the end of the year, and that will be it for the property.
That's
Yeah, I
why.
was gonna say,
That's-
what's our? Do we have to?
I know it's not.
When do we have to spend down that allocation by for that TIF?
So I'm going to defer to Anna on this. We've had some discussions about the
For the Kinzer Proud TIF,
Yeah.
We do not have, my understanding, Dana, correct me, that we don't have a hard and fast deadline of when we need to spend it by. It's just when we stop collecting is at the end of this year. Is that correct? Yeah.
Correct. But we really should be trying to find bright project for that area. There's been a few that's popped up that ended up getting taken care of already, but we do need to start looking at what some of the needs are in that area. There's been so much work in other places that not been able to focus on that, but I believe getting with engineering and trying to find out the infrastructure stressors that are in that area is an important next step for that.
And as of today, that TIF fund has $831,000 in it, and there'll probably be another in the fall. There'll probably be another around 40,000, 45,000. So it'll be like 875, maybe something like that by the end.
Recognizing that could get chewed up with infrastructure improvements and so forth. One nice neighborhood visible kind of thing to do would be to take some proposals for some neighborhood beautification that could happen as a result of that. Could happen with that funding. I mean, much like we did the neighborhood improvement grants. These were big sums of money, and they got the neighborhood together to do various projects. Might be a nice additional way to cap off that spending. 20 grand, allocate something like that. Anyway, just a suggestion.
Can you just remind me what the vision was for the TIF when it was, let's say, created 25 years ago, whatever that was?
I remember.
Yeah.
Remember?
I don't.
That corridor was envisioned to be a business corridor going up north of the north side of the county.
Okay.
And I remember the conversation, and they visualized. Just think of what in Marion County what Meridian looks like.
Mm-hmm.
This could be our little Meridian.
Okay.
And so it would, there was a building, big office building built, and there was more projected. There was correct me if I'm wrong, Randy, because your memory's better than mine, but there was actually a business park that was envisioned.
It was envisioned there based upon
Nothing
the All Good building that originally was taken over,
Yeah.
and then the addition for it was added on. Meadows came in, and it was supposed to be a business park in that particular area. And as 69 came through, it was going to be an off ramp that then would bring us into.
Yeah, but the park was going to be there first,
Right.
before 69, and then of course park never materialized, and no need for an off ramp.
Yeah,
Building does kind of look out of place there.
Yeah, All Good dealership. All Good had a
Big leasing
a
company.
leasing company that built the original
I
building.
think I'm thinking the part of Prowl that goes south from 10th Street. Isn't there a block or two?
Oh,
of it?
you're in downtown Prowl.
Downtown Prowl.
Yeah,
That's not this
Yeah,
one.
no,
We're
this
up
is
at
Bloomington
Kinzer
High
Pike.
School
Got it.
North Kinzer
Okay.
Road, Prowl.
Okay.
Just north
Prowl
of the
Road.
high school.
My
Just when I thought
grandfather-
about neighborhood stuff, sorry.
My grandfather used to
It
have
may
a
not be
farm there,
relevant.
so we called it Pro Road
Pro.
when I was a kid.
Bro.
We called it Pro Road back in the
Hedricks?
day.
The Hedricks?
I'm sorry?
Hedricks?
No, if you look across from North High School, you can still see a silo there.
Yeah.
That's one grandfather.
Little farm.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay, because Phil Hedrick had a little farm
Yes.
there, and he's the one that provided the donkey to Bob Knight.
All right, moving on.
Wow.
My treasurer's report is
I'm
complete.
sorry, man.
Sorry.
So I do have one last question.
Oh, so-
Who is responsible in terms of RDC, if it's the director or otherwise, of coming up with a proposal for the use of those funds? Because I understand from legal that there's not maybe a deadline, but that also is an appropriate and responsible use of the funds. And I'm just trying to understand, when it comes back to us, who might be helping to get it to that point.
We are working as a team on that.
Okay.
So we have an internal RDC team that includes legal, the controller, me, and the director of economic and sustainability, so Jane.
Okay, thanks. Just wanted to get a sense of how that might be.
And with this, we see this very often in our other hand funds where projects make application, and while we're looking at them, they may fall through just for feasibility reasons or whatnot. So we've looked at a few different things
Okay,
that have not reached fruition to this point.
okay. Thank you for that update.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, next, we have a business development update. I know that,
Director Cooper Smith is out this week, so I do not believe that she has one. Anna, did you have okay.
okay, that's fine, just wanted to make sure. And I do see Mr. Kanoki here, do you have an engineering for Hopewell update? Even though we kind of released you formally of that last time.
I don't have an update this week. I'm here for an agenda item, but I will say we are planning on having the number of 0-step entry units for you by the end of this week. So your next meeting, I should be able to update.
Exciting. Okay, thank you so
And
much.
I have attempted to schedule with the CCA. So.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I have to check that. That would be great. Okay, we are on to new business. We're looking at Resolution 26-37, which is the approval of an agreement with Calumet Civil Contractors Incorporated for temporary storage at Hopewell East Development. And is that what you're here for, Mr. Kanoki?
Yes.
Okay.
Kendall Kanoki Engineering Department. So this was brought before you at your last meeting. We received some great feedback on the language of the agreement. But just to recap, this is an agreement to allow the contractor for the West 2nd Street modernization project to use the northwest corner of Hopewell East as a staging area. So this is the southeast corner of Rogers and 2nd. The agreement was presented to you last meeting. There was some feedback given, and I think Dana has done a great job incorporating all the feedback. But I'll just recap briefly what the changes are. So one request was no access to the alley or any of the new Hopewell East infrastructure will be permitted. So we removed that from the exhibit and from the agreement itself. Improve the language regarding restoration of the site once they're complete. We added a bond requirement for them. The request was 30 days to kick them off of the site, and Dana actually put 15 in there. So he went above and beyond. And then we added some language about the erosion control responsibility. So I skimmed through. I don't know, Dana, do you have anything to add? Any changes that you made?
No, we talked about the amount of the bond, and so Kendall and I, we went back and forth about the different kinds of things that might need to be replaced if things went really bad, and so there's monitoring wells there, and so replacing, abandoning current monitoring wells if they were damaged and installing new ones and things like that, and so I believe both of us felt comfortable that the $100,000 bond would be sufficient as a restoration bond to make sure the property gets back to its condition.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions or comments from commissioners on Resolution 2637? Yes.
What's as we're turning this property over to Calumet to utilize as a staging area, where are we at with our previous contractor and them having release of liability based upon either whether it be trees, restoration, and the rest of that, so that we don't end up into you caused this, we didn't have that?
Yeah, so we have done everything except for release the retainage to that contractor. So they are waiting for our final pay app release of retainage, and we're just waiting on sign off from some city departments like planning on a lot of the plantings. There were plantings that have died that are being replaced.
Mm-hmm.
So my thought is if all of that is completed before Calumet is out of there, then this little section will kind of become Calumet's responsibility. This is really just a little grass area, so it's not the subject of kind of all the ongoing.
Right, I just want to verify that where we're setting it, we're not getting into something, well, that was fine, that we verify ahead of time with photos and written documentation that it was in this condition. We expect it to be put back in that condition.
Yeah, and Dana actually added a line that photos have to be taken and they have to restore it to the existing condition.
And
so
who on the cities will be responsible for documenting and keeping track of that? Is that you? Is that Anna? So that we have pre-usage photography, so we verify.
yeah, that's a good question. Probably since this is RDC, it's going to be Anna Dragovich. I will say we are, with our little construction camera, we're taking a picture every 10 minutes now. So we've got a couple weeks worth of green to I think we can
I just
use
want,
that,
I just want to verify that we're not getting into finger pointing, and then you feel based upon your experience that $100,000 will put it back into the condition.
Yeah, and that's kind of assuming a worst case scenario. Yeah.
Okay, and this is a performance and payment performance bond.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Otherwise, I'll open.
Oh.
Sorry.
One last question. Given the fact that this contract is supposed to be done by December 26th or December 31st of 26, where is our restoration time that we're looking at? Because you're not going to plant grass and you're not going to have anything done until spring. So just trying to look at that, because if they finish in December, they're not going to be able to come back and really plant and get ourselves where it needs to be until spring.
Yeah, I think we would hold the bond until all of that was established.
Mhm.
Is there anything specific in the language, Dana, that speaks to that?
No, not as far as the time frame. So we would just work with them. We would not release the bond until we were satisfied.
Right. I mean, like anything, what I'm trying to establish is so that they understand they need to get it done by this time, and then whether it be June 1st, and what's the condition, because we've got a good stand of grass at the present moment. And I understand we want buildings and people there, but we also need to, on a project like this that we're looking at, outward appearances are always important as we're trying to look at the project overall for the future.
Right.
For sure. Okay, so timing, just when it's got to be done is the question. If you could work that out amongst the staff, I appreciate that.
Yeah, it looks like the language is pretty open, so we can hold the bond until we believe the site's been restored in a satisfactory fashion.
Which is great. I'm just trying to hold all of us accountable,
Right.
time-wise.
Okay, if there are no other questions or comments from commissioners, I'll open it for public comment, either online or in person, for resolution 26-37. Seeing none, I will ask for motion.
Move approval of resolution 2637.
Second.
We've got a first and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is I'm just making sure because it's not quite in order, 26-40, which is the approval of the First Amendment to the 2025 CDBG Social Services Grant Agreement with Middleway House. Is that Mr. Griffin?
Yes, I can speak to that one. Seeking an extension of time, new federal requirements that came out during the grant process last year did make it harder for agencies to expend their funds, and a lot of which was just caused by guidance not necessarily being there for how to proceed in making sure we hit those compliance standards. So this would just be an extension of time to allow them to do so, but most likely if we can get that ironed out, they'll spend it well before the next actual funding round gets underway.
Okay. Any questions or comments from commissioners on this amendment?
Just curious, are there other not-for-profits that will have the same problem?
Yes,
So we'll be seeing it again.
most likely.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Otherwise, I'll open it for public comment, either online or in person, for resolution 26-40. Seeing none, I'll ask for a motion, please.
I'll make a motion to approve 26-40 as presented.
Second.
We have a first and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Next item on the agenda is resolution 26-41, which is the approval of the purchase of project management software. Who would like to speak to that?
Anna Dragovich is going to be taking that one.
Yeah, I can. Hopewell, as you all know, is quite a robust project. I mean, we were just discussing who's going to track what, who's going to be responsible for what, who's going to be where day to day. And right now the team is doing, I think, fairly well working in just a simple Google Sheets spreadsheet. But as we go on and as this project gets more and more complicated with contractors digging out there and, proximity, that I'm just anticipating things getting more complicated. We're kind of getting to the point where our to-do list sort of has a to-do list. And so I would really love for the team to get Monday.com is what I'm recommending, specifically to purchase so that folks can just have more of a I guess, a more dynamic way to manage the project. I don't know if you're familiar with working with any of those, but I can go into a little bit more details if you want, but it's a more robust way to facilitate a project and make sure things are getting tracked. And just visually, as opposed to a spreadsheet, which is really the purpose is more financial tracking and not project management. Having a proper project management tool will just help us keep track of things. And so to start, I'm recommending 10 what Monday.com calls seats or subscriptions. And to purchase an annual subscription for those 10 seats, the total cost is $2,280. And so that will be 10 people across several departments who are directly working, have tasks with Hopewell. So hopefully that provides clarity. Let me know.
Is 10
Please.
enough?
I think it's a good start. I was trying to be a bit more conservative, not necessarily. I don't think people necessarily who, how do I say it? There are a lot of folks on the Hopewell team that do contribute, but they may not directly be responsible for tasks specifically. They may have a big hand in the decision-making process, but they may not necessarily be directly responsible for tasks. So I think to start 10 would be enough. It does get, I think it's strange when we're working at this subscription level, which is called Pro, as opposed to like an enterprise level. The subscriptions start out at 3, 5, and they go to 10 to 15 to 20. So I thought 10 was good because otherwise, I don't know if 15 would be too many. That's probably a really long way to answer your question, but 10, yes,
I'll
10
come
feels
along.
like
That's
enough.
And this is an annual cost, so next year we'll be presumably voting again to renew those seats, because this isn't gonna, we're gonna be in this for a while, more than a year.
Yeah, I would think so.
How long has Monday.com been around?
I don't know. It's a good question.
Are they,
Well recognized
which
as a
is,
project management tool.
yeah, say that
I
again?
think it's pretty well recognized as a project management
Which
tool.
leads me to, which is where I'm really headed is, are they gonna be around for a while? So, I mean,
Yeah.
Like everybody else.
Right.
Well,
Right.
At this point, anything is better.
anything is better.
We need project management software. We have far too many projects going on to be operating the way we are.
So,
Do you
John,
talk
you
to
had a
IT
question.
in terms of getting
Sorry.
Not as good. Good.
I was just wondering if you had a consultation with IT in terms of either if any other departments use project management software, what they use, and
Right.
IT might have a recommendation or they might have recommended what you looked at. I'm just curious kind of how that
Yeah.
discussion went.
You feel like, it seems like you would say something.
No, I would just say that that has been sort of on the back burner for IT, and we're kind of hoping to demonstrate some leadership here and perhaps set a standard. But if not, that's, then presumably we might switch at some point in the future.
So we're probably not just buying this software just for the Hopewell project, but you
Right.
could use it for any project.
So the 10 people that have a subscription, they'll be able to use it for any other projects, not necessarily RDC, but the purposes that I will be having them use it for is Hopewell.
Okay, so that,
Yes, but this is for all RDC projects.
okay. Well, but I guess you kind of, maybe you're seeing where I was headed. If this is going to be a citywide platform, which everybody could maybe benefit from it, why is the RDC paying for it?
This is specific for RDC projects.
This-
At this point, that is the only reason for Hopewell, all of the other RDC projects, period.
we're looking for timeframes, individual tasks, in order to identify one single platform that everybody can look at to identify what is being done, what has been done. Your $228 per seat, that's on an annual basis, correct? There's no additional subscription plus, I'm sure we got how many hours of help in order to do this. I have not heard of Monday.com. I looked at some of their videos in order to verify it. It essentially sets up the time frame. It allows you to import and export from Excel. I mean, the two primary ones that we deal in these large projects is Procore and Bluebeam. Now, being fiscally responsible based on the size of our RDC projects and such, and just starting in this is dirt cheap. And it still maintains the basics of what you need to manage a project.
I'm not questioning the use of it, or the purpose of it, or the value of it. If this rolls into being a citywide, everybody in the building's using it, then maybe we ought to come up with a way to share the costs.
Right.
I agree.
That's where I
Right.
was headed.
Yeah, at this point, it's my understanding that the city has been looking for 2 years at looking at the program. It hasn't come up with one yet. And
How long
so,
have you been doing this?
and so
2 months.
Hopewell can't wait for that continued, going down, kicking that can down the road. So the purpose was to get something going now for RDC projects. And yes, and it could be that the city chooses something else down the road, and this may morph into something else later. But but yes, it's not intended to be something that everybody uses at the expense of RDC. It's something for the RDC to use now because it's needed now. And then again, if the city comes up with one, if it's the same thing, then cost sharing would be very appropriate way forward. But the city has yet to decide on a way forward.
You've answered it. Thank you.
Are you gonna require any of our contractors also to utilize this software? Just
They
internal purpose only?
not in the way that the 10 seats will. They will be able to view things and I believe comment on them, but they will not be able to alter
Right,
timelines.
you'll have administrative rights in regards
Right,
to it,
they'll
but it will be able to be looked at, or contractors that engage with the city will be able to add to with your permission, or look at what it is so you know where they are from a time frame standpoint.
They will, I can't remember if they can add to, but I know they will be able to view.
Viewing is,
But we are
Yes.
not purchasing licenses or seats.
no,
Correct.
not at all.
That's
The reason I ask this is in our Procores, Bluebeams, and other software or other project management, there are permissions that are given so that the owner, as the manager of the project management software, is aware of where the circumstances are. So it's not up to you at all times to always update where they are.
Mhm. Yes.
Cool. Thank you.
And I'm just gonna say, I think it's awesome. I really am excited that you're doing this because I totally appreciate the value of good project management software. And I've used a variety of different kinds based on just my own professional experience, just even with clients, because everybody's got something different and I gotta figure out how to use it. I have not used Monday.com, although I have heard very good things about it. My one just kind of suggestion is, and it's not gonna be like, oh, all of a sudden everything's dumped in here. I know it takes time to build it up, but just to maybe trial it with a project, make sure it's doing what you need it to do, just because once you're in, if you realize there's things that maybe aren't quite what you hoped it would be or not working perfectly, it's harder to pull out because it's just so embedded in there. And if there's a lot of projects that are embedded on there, it even becomes more of that commitment. So just
Yeah.
trying to kind of test it out, make sure it's doing what you need it to do.
Yeah.
Because there are other options if you're like, well, it's not really doing X or Y that we hoped it would. And it's a little easier to extract yourself if you've kind of not maybe overcommitted, at least in the first quarter or 2 quarters or whatever.
I appreciate that. I have been working within a trial that Monday.com
Okay.
gave, and I've actually asked them to extend it, and
Oh,
they have
good.
generously. So I have been, you're right, there is a learning curve to getting it set up in a really logical way that, works. And that's taken a little bit of time, but I'm hopeful that I've got a good thing going.
So far, so good.
So far, so good. I
Thank
haven't
you
been
for
using
your-
it with the team because they don't have seats yet, but
Yeah.
it's
Well, thanks for initiating it. Again, I think it's a great move, and I will look forward to having the RDC projects embedded in that.
Thank you for your support.
Okay, so we've had commissioner comments. Any public comment on resolution 26 sorry, my 41. Thank you. Not seeing anything online or in person, I will ask for a motion.
Motion to approve resolution 2641.
Second.
Got a first and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passed unanimously. Okay, we're on to resolution 2642, which is authorization for a designee to settle litigation through mediation on behalf of the Bloomington RDC. Who would like to speak to that?
I can do that. There is a mediation in the two appellate court cases, which are stemming from the trial court cases, which have been resolved as far as motions for summary judgment, but there's not been any further action taken on in the trial court cases pending these Court of Appeals cases. But on June 29th, there is for Warren Technologies and Bloomington Board of Realtors, there is a mediation scheduled, half a day for each. And it has been suggested that Deborah Meyerson would be the representative for the Redevelopment Commission. What we're asking for in this resolution is for the RDC to authorize Deborah Meyerson as the president of RDC to settle litigation and mediation related to trial court and Court of Appeals cases with the Bloomington Board of Realtors Inc. and Warren Technologies LLC, as was identified in the resolution. So this is giving the authority again to Deborah Meyerson to be that representative that can speak on behalf of the entire RDC when it comes to mediation. There was an executive session held earlier to discuss litigation and what boundaries might be appropriate. And so there is guidance for Deborah Meyerson on that. So this is the, again, allowing Deborah Meyerson to be able to enter into agreements should they be reached during mediation.
Thank you. I'm gonna invite for questions or comments from commissioners, but since I'm kind of hot seat on this proposal, I'm gonna start, which I don't usually do, which is I wanted to propose there are two different complainants named in here, and wanted to offer to split that because of the time commitment involved and the expertise involved, so that the RDC might authorize two. And I wanted to propose that Randy Cassidy might split that with me, if that would be amenable to all RDC members, where we might each take one of the different complainants to participate on behalf of the RDC. And so I'll just put that out there and just generally open for comment.
What does Randy think?
I'm fine with helping in any capacity whatsoever.
What's that?
I'm happy to help in any capacity whatsoever to help get resolution in our community and for the community, or for the government.
As long as, that sounds good to me, as long as it works from a legal standpoint. And do we need the resolution to be specific at this point to say, because we have and/or language in the resolution,
Well, it's
does
just
it
in
need
the
to say,
minutes.
or we just,
Put the and/or, because not knowing if there would be an
Sure.
RDC representative available.
we
So
can leave it?
then it would allow the Corporation Counsel, who is by statute authorized to handle the legal affairs for the city of Bloomington, including the RDC. We could put what I would suggest would to put Deborah Meyerson or her designee, and then she could simply write, I designate whomever would be in her place to make, to fill in for her.
That sounds fine. That, whatever makes sense for the
I
how the
would-
resolution reads.
Okay, I'll follow your legal counsel on how to do that.
Okay.
Okay, any other comments or questions from commissioners? Mr. Cassidy, we're good?
Good.
Yeah, I need to recuse myself from voting because I am a member of BBOR.
Okay, thank you.
And would
Any,
you want to leave in there so that the corporation council could settle if for some reason our PC member couldn't be
I
present?
think that would be helpful to be able
Okay.
to cover the bases within the resolution as it's written.
Okay.
Um,
You would do so.
So I will open resolution 26-42 for public comment, either in person or online. Not seeing any, I will ask for a motion.
Move approval of resolution 2642.
Second.
We've got a first and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And one abstention. So we've got 4 in favor and 1 abstention. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the 26-43, which is the approval of the 2026 annual action plan. Who would like to speak to that?
I'm happy to speak to that. So as you know, we are a participating jurisdiction and an entitlement community. That basically means that we get an annual allocation of home investment partnership funds and community development or block grants, CDBG funds. Every year as part of that, we have to provide a plan called an annual action plan before our funding for the next calendar year is approved. We also have to provide a CAPER, which is basically a end of year report. How did you do? How was the funding used? We have learned in the last year that the best practices is to bring the annual action plan to you for formal adoption, just to say, yes, we reviewed it, we're good with it. Essentially, we have already been to you guys for a good majority of what's in the annual action plan, which is the allocations that were decided by the Citizen Advisory Commission earlier last year. However, this is the formal plan. Our program years run from June 1st to May 31st of each calendar year. HUD didn't announce their allocations until late, so we have a certain amount of time in which to publicly notice the annual action plan for at least 30 days and then submit to HUD. We technically have until August 15th to submit, but after your formal approval, this would be going straight to them, hopefully this week sometime. So that would just allow them to approve the projects that were voted on by the CIC. And officially approve our allocations and start our program year. So I know this is strange for you because you've already seen the projects and you don't normally vote on the annual action plan. But moving forward, it would likely be that we will start bringing the allocations and annual action plan to you at the same time for approval.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments from commissioners on resolution 2643 as presented?
This just cleans up everything.
Yeah, I mean, we don't
standpoint.
technically need to do this, but this is just best practices to make sure that we're getting as much public participation as possible in our plan. So it has been out for notice, I think, May 22nd or April 22nd to May 22nd. So it has been out for 30 days. We've also had a lot of CAC meetings, so it's had a lot of public scrutiny the way that it is, but just for transparency.
Okay.
Appreciate that.
Any other questions or comments from commissioners? I will open it for public comment, either online or in person. Seeing none, I'll ask for a motion for resolution 2643.
I move to approve 26-43.
Thank you. And I will just say that all projects are based on applications. Applications for the 27 funding year will be opened up around August, September. So we're at the mercy of who applies. So if you have an awesome project, apply.
Thank you. Okay, we have a motion. We have a second. We have a first and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you. We are on to Resolution 2644, which is the approval of an agreement with Marshall Security LLC for security patrols at Hopewell Properties. Would like to speak to that?
Happy to speak to you about that again. So last year you guys approved a year of security patrols at the Hopewell site. They have been beneficial to us. I know we went back and forth on what is the frequency, how long should they be there, how long are we going to keep this up? The truth is that we get a number of reports that they respond to weekly, some daily, I would say definitely weekly. We have a lot of attractive nuisances. So we have the 714 South Rogers Street building, which is vacant, that has attracted a lot of incidents. But the number one site that we've had more reports on is the garage. So it too is an attractive nuisance. It's cool in the summer. The fencing keeps getting pulled down, so we're trying to deploy someone to go repair that again. But as we start construction and get more heavy equipment out there, it seems like potentially a bad idea to pull back from security. Some activity during the day may be a good thing. It's what happens after that I'm concerned with. So what's before you is a contract to approve the same cadence and frequency that we've been on, the same schedule for another year. I'm happy to discuss alternatives. I believe it's $28.11 per hour, and we're on 12-hour shifts, and those are varied shifts. So it's not 9 to 9 or whatever. It's just so that there's some infrequency for visitors.
Thank you for that presentation. Any questions or comments from commissioners on Resolution 2644?
My only comment in regards to the 714 building, I'd really like to at least get our structural report at some point in order to at least identify where we think we're going with that. It has to be secured and maintained, and from my experience of being out of multiple hours of the night, Marshall Security is there significantly in regards to even if you pull in. So they're doing a good job. Just be nice to get ourselves to the point where we're not having to worry about security, because we've got enough residents and activity in that area. At this
Amen.
point, we're not there.
I do believe that those reports will be forthcoming soon. We do not have a final draft yet, but Anna Dragovich has been working very hard on getting that going.
Okay. Thank you.
Any questions or comments? I'm wondering, with this kind of agreement, it just would be interesting, and I don't know if it could be appended later, just a summary of what the activity has been on the site, just a one-pager of which sites and how many incidences and what kind of incidences. It just would kind of help reinforce the value of this service.
Can you get it on one page?
Yeah, well, that's why I was saying a summary, right, in terms of which address and what kind of, and then what number of those kinds.
They range widely from incidents. Yes, it won't fit on one page. We can get you some sort of summary, but it may not touch on.
That's something that'll take a lot of staff time, though.
Yeah, something that hopefully you already have. It can just be, use AI to say, give me a summary of what you already have.
They may be able to spit out from their system a general.
They'd have to record it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm just
they
interested.
send me an email every time something happens. So they're filling my inbox.
Okay. Well, I appreciate certainly the verbal report, and it just seemed like it would be helpful to have that. And my other question is, let's say once construction does get started, what typically is the, let's say, role or division between, let's say RDC owns the property, but there may be, again, equipment or other that the actual developer construction team, is there any kind of splitting of costs for stuff like that, or is that really just the property owner?
That's a really good question. I'm gonna have to defer to legal. I think once we have construction crews there, I mean, if they're putting the infrastructure, there are crews that are out there, so it'd be up to that contract, right?
Yeah, the contractor would be providing their own security for their own things.
Okay.
It's like all the other contracts we've had, they must provide security for their own equipment. But to the extent that we're also the developer, there's going to be things there that like the city's installing on behalf of the RDC that still needs to be covered, and just overall security of the site, as individual builders would be working on individual lots. There's still the entire project site and the areas that aren't being developed at a particular time, so they're still going to need security. So there's still going to be security needs, as well as the 714 building. There's still going to be security needs there, even while others are on site. No, we would not have liability for their equipment, but to the extent that there are things that are the RDC, then yes, the RDC would want to protect those assets.
Okay. Thank you for that additional information. Okay, if there's nothing else from commissioners, I'll open 2644 for public comment, either online or in person. Seeing none, I will ask for a motion.
Move approval of resolution 2644, agreement with Marshall Security.
Second.
We've got a first and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you. The last item on new business tonight is the resolution 2645, which is the approval of an amendment of maintenance of property owned by the redevelopment commission of the city of Bloomington. Who would like to speak to that?
I am happy to speak to you about that again. So, in January, you guys approved up to $300,000 for the maintenance of your RDC-owned properties. Unfortunately, we're noticing we're at the halfway point for this calendar year, and so we've spent about $149,962.58 to date as of, I think, June 12th when this was run. And if we anticipate receiving the utility bills as we have thus far this year, we will completely commit all of our funding. And we do have additional needs that are coming in, whether that's what happened at the Forge or whatnot. So I'm a little bit concerned and just want to make sure that we have some cushion to be able to respond as nimbly as possible to any building issues. As an exhibit to your resolution, there's a breakdown as to how we've spent that funding. So utilities was about $86,390. Showers West maintenance was $36,000. College Square was a little over $5,000 at $53.90. Trades District was a little over $10,773.76. 627 North Morton was $2,100. 4th Street Garage was $454. And mowing thus far has been $8,520. So that is why the resolution is back before you. When we were trying to process some invoices, we noticed this, was it last week or the week before, that we were likely going to have an issue with some of our blanket POs for our utilities if we move forward in the same capacity. So.
Just curious, do you happen to have a number on what, I'm just talking just utilities because those tend to be more predictable than, maintenance. But just what that might have been, let's say, for 2025, I guess calendar year, or we're doing fiscal year, I'm not sure, but previous year.
We could run a report that shows everything paid, like say Duke Energy or a specific place. But we do have a project code that it will show us everything paid to our 2602, but that won't just be utilities, that would be everything.
Okay.
I mean, it could be done, but. We
Just
have
trying
to
to
get
get a
that
sense
back.
if
We have
there's
to
a way
get
to-
that, yeah.
to compare in terms of even a ballpark for next time we authorize this
Yeah.
for the, anyway, so,
Yeah.
sorry, I wanted to open that open to all commissioners, I just,
Hopefully we can dispose of some property where this won't be an issue in 27, but we'll see.
Yeah.
That was my question in regards to it. These ongoing expenses, while we need to hold ourselves and maintain to the highest standard, because, we expect everybody in the private sector to do that.
Mhm.
We have to maintain and continue these properties, but we also have to look, as I think we've discussed previously, of the time frame in order to dispose of them on some of these properties that are non-tax generating and obviously maintenance expenses, so we get them back into productive use in our community and employment and housing.
Well, we know that, we anticipate fairly substantial utilities increases next year as well.
Mhm.
So, I mean, in all utilities, we know that the CBU is working on finishing up a rate case in water, and then we'll move on to wastewater. 8 to 10% in Duke. Similar with Centerpoint.
And my concern is just a matter of those expenses will be ongoing. There's not revenues coming in to offset any of those, and these are non-tax generating properties.
Correct, and you have Duke bills, and I flagged this before for you, but Duke bills in Showers West that are $8,000, $9,000, $7,000, so very expensive utilities there. It's an older building with vaulted ceilings and limited insulation and individual HVAC units that are likely at the end of their life cycle. So, it's an expensive building for utilities.
We have discussed too, maybe next year having two separate resolutions, one for utilities and one for maintenance, so you can see them separately, and that may help you keep better, better understanding.
Yeah, end result comes down, try to cut the expenses that we can and not have something that we're owning as a city that we're not utilizing.
Okay.
Personal opinion.
thank you. Anything else from commissioners?
Are you not bringing this to us a little prematurely?
We are, but it has to do with the blanket POs for the utilities, if they are projected, so I'll let you guys explain.
Well, right now, we have like 124,000 that's is basically encumbered from that 300,000. So it's showing right now, we only have like 15,000 available that we can use. In reality, there's more than that, but that amount will already be used through the end of the year. So, does that make sense?
It's earmarking for those utilities for the rest of the year, anticipating what's needed. And they have to open them up as a blanket purchase order, so we could modify that and reduce it, but the problem is gonna be the same as we go through the year no matter what. So I'd rather nip it in the bud, and so that we can respond when I get somebody calling and saying, hey, we have water intrusion issue, do you want me to wait for the next RDC meeting for approval? And say, no, go.
The only reason I ask that is not that you don't have the expenses, but you're throwing a dart as to what you need.
We are.
And so I was thinking with 3 more months of payout, you'll have a better idea, that's all. I'm not saying we won't have to come back to you won't have to come back to the trough, I know you will, but.
Well, that's why I'm hoping the $50,000 will get us a little bit further down the road. It may not be enough, we don't know yet. Jeff, you were going to say something?
No, I mean, I was just gonna say, you pretty much already said it, that the utilities was essentially already obligated, even though we haven't actually spent it. It's kind of consuming a lot of that ceiling because of that open purchase order.
And it doesn't make sense at this point to bring you a resolution that says, let's now track utilities separately. Because of the way that our system works, you have to give it a project code that you can't really peel back away. So it would be very difficult to run reports. Maybe at the beginning of 27, it would be wise to separate them at that point, but right now, I'm not sure that it does.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. If there's nothing else from commissioners, I will open it for public comment, either they're online or in person for resolution 26-45. Seeing none, I will ask for a motion.
Go ahead.
Move approval of resolution 2645 for maintenance of property, RDC property.
I will second it.
We have a first and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. That concludes our new business for tonight. Any outstanding items before we adjourn?
One last comment, just to verify, you are working on trying to dispose of some of this in the next year.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And the last RDC TIF report that we provided at the previous meeting, you should have seen that the resolution for appraisals, which usually goes untouched, has been being drawn down, so.
Excellent. Thank you for that.
Okay. Well, I will take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Okay. We are adjourned. Thank you all.
5 minutes, we're good.